Today, my message title is Jesus Gives Life. John chapter 5, verse 24. Very truly I tell you, whoever hears my words and believes him who sent me has eternal life, will not be judged, but has crossed over from death to life. In today's passage, Jesus mainly reveals who he is. It is vitally important for everyone to know who Jesus is. Knowing Jesus means to have a personal relationship with him. This personal relationship with Jesus is unique. It is different from knowing anyone else. Jesus, Son of God, has authority to give life and to judge. This is why it is essential to know Jesus and hear his word. First, the Father is always at work, and so is Jesus. Jesus did not shrink back in the time of persecution. Rather, Jesus defended himself and explained why he was working on the Sabbath. Jesus said, "My Father is always at his work to this very day. I too am working." Genesis teaches us that God worked hard for 6 days to create the universe and all that is in it. Then on the seventh day, God rested from all his work, and it was not because God was tired. It was to commemorate his work. Since then, God has worked continually in order to sustain his creation. Even on the Sabbath, the sun rises and sets, and the rain falls in season. Babies are born. God continues to provide everything that is needed to hold mankind and the animals as well. If God did not work on the Sabbath, the whole creation would perish. Furthermore, God always carries out his redemptive work. Since the fall, God has worked steadily to save mankind. God called his servants such as Abraham, Moses, and David. God sent prophets and gave promises and spoke his words to mankind again and again, even though people were rebellious toward him. God never stops working to save man, regardless of response. Finally, God sent his one and only Son to save mankind. We cannot go to God directly, but only through Jesus. We are adopted into God's family through what Jesus has done for us. We need to be sanctified. We are not equal with God, but Jesus is the Son of God. The Jewish leaders understood Jesus' claim to divinity, so they tried to kill him. Jesus did not lose hope. Rather, Jesus continued to work because the Father was working. The Father was standard for Jesus, not the environment or the presence of visible fruit. God is always at his work. God still loves the world. God's heart's desire is to save people from eternal condemnation. Second, Jesus is the life giver and the judge. Philippians 2:6 says of Jesus, who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be used to his own advantage. Rather, he made himself nothing. In verses 28 Jesus explains that his relationship with the Father is characterized by love. Jesus' submission was his response to the Father's love. The Father did not hold anything back from Jesus. Out of the fullness of his love, he trusted Jesus completely and showed him all he did. Between the Father and the Son, there was no secret, barrier, or conflict. They were one in love. In his love, the Father would show the Son even greater works than he had done thus far. What were these greater works? First of all, the Son gives life to whom he is pleased to give it. Giving life is something that God uniquely does out of his love. When we love others, we want to give them the best gifts, even a new car. But we cannot give life to them. Only God can give life. In contrast, the devil is a murderer. The devil takes away life whenever he can. But Jesus gives life, even raises the dead. Jesus does not curse with people, but he makes them alive by enemies. In the town of Nain, there was a young man who was the son of his widowed mother. He was everything to his mother, but one day he surely died. He could do nothing. His corpse lay lifeless in the coffin. When Jesus saw this, his heart went out to the widow, and he said to her, "Don't cry." Then he touched the corpse and said, "Young man, I say to you, get up." The dead man sat up and began to talk. Jesus has power to give life to whom he is pleased to give it. Secondly, the Son has authority to judge. Verse 22 says, "Moreover, the Father judges no one, but has entrusted all judgment to the Son." Jesus is meek, gentle, full of grace. Jesus is our friend. He accepts us as we are. We can hang around him and enjoy fellowship with him. At the same time, Jesus is the judge. He has authority to judge all people on earth without exception. Third, whoever hears my word and believes has eternal life. The fact that Jesus is the life giver and the judge is not mere theory. It has profound implications for all people who will ever live. Verse 24, "Very truly I tell you, whoever hears my word and believes him who sent me has eternal life, will not be judged, and has crossed over from death to life." We can consider two things here. First is the importance of what we decide to hear. Second is the result that follows hearing. We hear many voices every day. Some voices give us encouragement, to comfort, to hope and vision, and make us alive. On the other hand, some voices seem to be sweet, but contain the poison of death with them. They discourage us and rob the vitality from other lives. Which voice we listen to is very important. We need to discern which voice is from God and which is from Satan, and make a right choice in hearing. When Adam and Eve heard Satan's whispering, It was very sweet and aroused the simple desires in their hearts. They were deceived and become rebellious toward God and disobeyed His word. As a result, they lost paradise and died. Their disobedience affected not only them, but all of their descendants. In contrast, Jesus, who is the second Adam, heard God's voice and defeated the devil's temptation with the words of God. Jesus said, "It is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Through his obedience to God's word, Jesus, because the source of eternal salvation for all who obey him, there is no other qualification but to hear his words and believe. Eternal life comes only through hearing and believing. It is amazing. Is it true? Yes, it is true. Jesus promises us, so eternal life begins the moment we hear Jesus' word and believe. We enter into eternal fellowship with Jesus, who is source of life. Not only so, but we will not be judged. The Bible tells us that God's judgment is inevitable, inescapable. Hebrews 9:27 says, just as people are destined to die once, but after that to face judgment. The result of this judgment is not a limited jail sentence. It is eternal condemnation in the fire lake of burning sulfur with no way out. But when we hear Jesus' word and believe, we are exempt from this judgment. In addition, we crossed over from death to life. There are two worlds, the worlds of the dead and the worlds of the living. Those in the world of the dead may eat well, wear stylish clothes, and live in a mansion, but they often suffer under the power of death. They are empty, meaningless, powerless, and hopeless. They have no lasting peace or joy. They have no remedy for their inner hatred, jealousy, resentment, bitterness, and sorrow, despair, vengeful spirit, and like. The smells are often clown smells. On the other hand, those in the world of living experience peace, joy, and true satisfaction even if they live in humble circumstances. They have hope and vision and can laugh from deep within their hearts. They can forgive one another, love one another, bear with one another, and serve one another instead of beating and devouring each other. To enjoy the world of living, shall we pay an expensive entry fees? Though all we